Hello again, folks. This is Patrick and Tal, or Patrick and Sue, as we are known on this channel. This is video number 4. Welcome. I'm glad that everyone is joining along on our relationship journey. This is us as an interabled couple, and this is video number 4. Videos number 1 and 2 were sort of our introduction to us and our relationship as an interabled couple. Video number 3 was us on a silent retreat and also discussing issues around accessibility. And now we are on to video number 4, and Sue will introduce the introduce herself again, and also the topic of the video as well.
Hello again, everyone. Sue here. Today we are going to be talking about March's Cerebral Palsy Awareness Month. And so cerebral palsy is a neuromotor disability that affects the way that my legs work. Mine happened to be a really slight case of cerebral palsy, which it only affects the bottom part of my legs and doesn't affect my whole body. Most people have, mine is what is called spastic cerebral palsy. Some other people have more severe cases that may affect the upper body, and in some cases they are unable to do the normal day activity requiring 24/7 care. Today we are the topic of the video is to basically spread awareness about this month, which means if you have any family members or friends that have cerebral palsy or some type of disability, feel free to reach out to me.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, or you could just even leave a comment in the comments section.
Yeah, leave a comment in the comment section if you have any questions.
Obviously don't leave any personally identifiable information, but if you do leave a comment, Sue would be able to, leave her sort of experience and how that would relate to you. Again, one of my uncles also had cerebral palsy. I say he had because he did pass away, not from COVID, but he passed away partway through the pandemic. And he was one of the people who Sue had mentioned, some people need care 24/7. So yeah, Uncle Mark was in one of those assisted care homes, and he had super bad cerebral palsy, in the sense that he was able to express happy feelings or sad feelings by either smiling or crying or stuff like that. And he was able to walk. I mean, it took a very long time for people to teach him how to walk, but he finally learned how to walk when he was probably 30 or something like that. Maybe when he was 40. But it was always, I didn't really get many opportunities to interact with Uncle Mark because he was always at, our family home was probably, a hour plus drive away from where Uncle Mark lived. And so I would only get to see him occasionally at family parties. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so any, I guess, what would you say, Sue, are some of the unique challenges that have affected you?
I guess maybe because in the last video, I think I mentioned that I've learned to be resourceful and just learn how to advocate for myself, because people don't always get what I need. So then I have to, step out of my comfort zone a little bit and think about how I'm gonna communicate to these people. But thankfully, because I'm able to go to a mainstream school, and by mainstream I mean that the um I go to a regular classroom with occasionally some of my teachers that would be either my speech teacher or resource specialist would take me out for an hour or two for extra tutoring. So I did that for a number of years, and yeah. So if Mrs. Kishimoto, if you're watching this, thank you. Um, and then, anyways, I could go on and on, but maybe we could talk about it in the last video. One other shout out that I especially wanted to give out to is Miss Gonzalez. Uh, I know that you were my adapted PE teacher. You like really helped me a lot since I was in kindergarten. Um, and Patrick have yet to meet you, but hopefully someday we could go out and yeah. So you've known me since I was in kindergarten.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
well, but I think like another important part of why we're making this channel is just that we want to show that, well, firstly, we want to show that it's possible to have interable relationship with one another.
Mhm.
And we also want to just show some of the, potentially, harder issues, but also how we overcome those issues.
Yeah.
So, like, for example, today when I came over, so Sue's mom made dinner for both of us. And then after we had finished eating, Sue actually went and cleaned up, like the dishes and cups and stuff. And, that's just, one example of, Sue, like, is able to clean the, dishes and stuff. Like I ended up bringing over a cheesecake that I had made earlier today, and I just like stuck that in the fridge. But that's just like one example of, we all work together as a team, and I feel like that is really unhealthy for me to bring over a cheesecake, but I enjoy cooking, so um, that's just like, one thing. And then also I wanted to point out that earlier when Sue was talking about going to a normal college, she is like literally in grad school right now at U.S. or University of Santa Clara.
Santa Clara University, but
Yeah.
it used to be called University of Santa Clara.
Yeah. It used to be USC.
Yeah, it used to be very. It's a beautiful campus. I really like the mission church. Yeah. So the channel we did mention that we're Catholic, so shout out to our church friends. And shout out to Catholic Mass if any of you are.
Yeah, Catholic matches. It is a great service. There certainly are a bunch of weirdos on Catholic match. However, I feel like there's weirdos everywhere in the world. So yeah. But
yeah, thanks to Catholic Match we met. I mean, obviously, we almost lost each other, but by the grace of God, I just decided to take a chance because, yeah. So, what would you say? I don't know. Do you want to say any more about the dating experience or about your Uncle Mark and how?
Not that I can think of for that. I think another thing that might be worth mentioning is like just I remember yesterday we both went to church together. I came over to visit Sue after I was off of work, and I remember we went to church together, and it was only when we had gotten to the parking lot of the church, and I had just walked into the church with Sue, and I was like, oh, I forgot to put Sue's walker into the car. And, it's just one of those things like, I always put Sue's walker into the back seat of the car when we go somewhere. And it's just one example of how, I've gotten so accustomed to just walking, everywhere, holding Sue's hand or arm, or, just walking with Sue, that I guess I kind of just automatically was like, Walker, I kind of must have mentally archived Walker's not important. I just put that, I just kind of ignore it. And, potentially when we're walking for much more extended periods of time, say we're going somewhere where both of us are going to be walking, side by side, then, then maybe a walker is like more useful. But I just thought it was interesting that I don't know. I've gotten so used to just walking, being Sue's, I guess, not human walker, but like, uh, just walking with Sue, that it's
Well, you were the one who suggested that we also, I also got a manual wheelchair in case we needed to go
true.
anywhere far, like if we were going to go to
Hmm.
Yosemite again next time,
Oh,
or
yeah.
if in the future we might visit your parents and
Hmm.
you want to push me around, and
Oh, yeah,
uh,
definitely.
so that's why we had the wheelchair. I mean, because I do also have um, a motorized wheelchair that's
Yeah.
like outside of my house, and I use that only to go to Santa Clara long distances.
Hmm.
But since car is Patrick's car is not it doesn't have space for my motorized wheelchair, and plus the wheelchair is like what somewhat 300 pounds or something, I would say.
Oh, wow.
I mean, this is just my educated
Yeah.
guess, but
Yeah.
it wouldn't fit in Patrick's car, so he suggested that I should get a wheelchair so he could push me around,
Yeah,
which
definitely.
is definitely helpful for our future trips.
Yeah, especially if we're planning to go somewhere where there's, extensive walking paths that are like paved. And when I say paved, I mean especially places like Yosemite Valley,
Uh-huh.
because there's a ton of walking areas there. However, Sue's form of cerebral palsy specifically affects her legs. So while, we're able to walk, I mean, as you probably saw in video number 3, we walk, reasonable distances, but walking for, a mile or more, that would just not be as feasible, which
Yeah,
is,
because I would get out of breath or I get
yeah,
super tired.
yeah.
And cerebral palsy does make you feel like you're expending more energy than regular able body, which means that my body used up all the energy before I can
Yeah, all of those
move on.
ATP.
Yeah, so
Yeah. Do you
um
remember ATP from biology class?
somewhat, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. ATP is one of the building blocks of cells. I remember, wait, no. It somehow is like related to the energy source for cells.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I remember that because I was having such problems with biology class that I remember I just started hating things like the Golgi apparatus and the I forget what the other things are, but like I was not having fun in biology class when I was in high school. So yeah, that's just like one example of yeah. So I just always used to joke about like oh, I guess I'm on to the NADPH part now because I've run out of ATP.
Mm-hmm.
So
So yeah.
yeah, yeah. But anyways, well, yes, this is Sue's boba tea right here.
Yeah,
This is
I
boba
love
tea.
squishies. I
Yeah,
love squishmallows.
yeah. And then here's this is a tulip. and then I guess you're not able to see them, but there's a Hello Kitty. There's another one that has a tag on its ear that says Erica, and then there's a little tiny boba tea, and then there's like a little teddy bear.
Bear, yeah, that one was crocheted by my cousin. Anyways,
Very cool.
do you have any last words or any stories you want to tell people?
Not really. I mean, like I guess over the past week or so, it's just been. I remember I went and got my I got a booster for both the chickenpox vaccine, and I also got a booster for the Tdap vaccine. And what I didn't realize is that apparently the Tdap vaccine is kind of notorious for being super painful and also requiring a lot of recovery. And then also the chickenpox vaccine, because it's not or chickenpox vaccine is basically an attenuated, is that a virus? I think it's a virus. It's like an attenuated virus, so it's not like completely dead, but it's not like super alive either. So it takes a good amount of body kind of power to kind of start building antibodies for that. So I got both of them at the same time, and so I was like super tired this past week. So
and then speaking of your Uncle Mark, would you say part of the reason why you were attracted to me, or like, I don't know, my question is, how does Uncle Mark's experience of cerebral palsy influence your decision to date me, or is there any impact on that?
Well, I mean, I think the thing for me is that I mean, because I grew up with an uncle who had a super I don't want to say like bad, like a super I feel like there's different levels of well, no, there's different levels of cerebral palsy, and he had like, I don't know, level 5. I don't know what the correct like terminology is.
A more severe form.
Yeah, he had a more severe form of cerebral palsy. But that kind of just made me realize, like, hey, cerebral palsy is just, it's something that anyone could have, and it's something that my Uncle Mark had. So I mean, I guess what I realize is just that when Sue says that she had it, or like that she has it, it's just like, it's like a disability that I understand. And I guess, part of the reason for these awareness months, like Cerebral Palsy Awareness Month, is just so that more people can understand that, cerebral palsy is just one, it's one, I guess in a certain sense.
One type of disability.
Yeah, it's a type of disability, but it's also, it's not like a scary thing or anything. It's just a disability.
Yeah.
So
and people like me can lead normal lives. We can date, and we can marry, and we can have kids. But we'll talk about those topics in future videos.
Definitely. I guess for now we just wanted to make I guess video 4 here, and say hello to y'all, and thank you to everyone for joining along with us on our YouTube journey. And make sure, if you have not done so, subscribe to the channel. Subscribe. It will help us a lot.
Subscribe, comment, like, reach out to us. If you have any suggestions or what topics that you want to do, because we'll also be talking about our faith in this video. I mean, faith in the next videos or so, because we're a Catholic interabled couple.
Definitely. Well, anyways, folks, thank you again.